Welcome back, the Improv Podcast. I'm your host, Zane Shaw, and today me and my sister Bianca will host an improvised interview with made-up characters played by the other person.
Welcome back. I'm Bianca Shaw, and today my presence is being blessed by a very important man in the news, local legend, local newspaper editor. He is a practicing mind reader, a Little League coach, and slowly losing parts of his body. Skip Toochi. Skip, welcome back. So glad you could be here today.
Thank you for having me. You know, I love to be in the news, as you know, because I love editing it, but I also love being a part of it, you know? It's like I'm editing it from the outside.
Absolutely. Is that why you're such a good deed doer?
Such a deed doer, yes.
Oh my gosh. Deed doer. How did you know I was going to say that?
It's a gift and a curse, really. It's actually...
Skip. Are you in my mind?
Mind, yes.
Oh my god, he did it again.
I am in and around the mind. I'm working my magic just like I do on the news in your head.
Oh my gosh. You should see his hand motions right now. He's truly doing a little bit of magic with his hand.
Modules.
Stop. It's freaking me out.
It's freaking me out too. It really is.
If at any point in this interview you want to do a mind reading game with me, you just say the word and I am in. Okay?
I would love to.
Well, Skip, for now, let's just start simple. How was your day today?
My day, well, let me tell you one thing I didn't see coming. Was my day. I stared at the sun for a very long time.
Oh my gosh. Did you think the eclipse was today?
Did I think the eclipse was today? No, I thought I knew the eclipse was today. I was wrong, but it's okay because both my eyes, they have minds of their own.
You know what? This is weird because in my notes I did have that you were going blind. Is this why you're going blind?
Is this why I'm going blind? No, there are many reasons I'm going blind. I like to throw things in my eyes a lot of the time.
Skip.
Sawdust, sand, crabs,
is it for the
salt
feeling
water.
It gives you? Is it an adrenaline rush?
No, I hate it. I very much hate it. But I feel
it.
I know. I feel it gives me my editing abilities. I wish I could say it was my mind reading powers, but no, that just it comes naturally. But it gives me the ability to edit content writing.
Okay, so the sawdust kind of gives you this power to be able to edit better. Does it help you see grammatical errors?
No. It just helps me press the backspace button very often. It helps me
because you're burning.
Synonyms come very easily all of a sudden.
Do you have a waterproof keyboard for the tears? Or?
No.
Nothing like that.
No.
Living on the edge.
I kind of have a bucket off to the side for
crying.
Yeah, and it's also filled with more sawdust, so I can throw watered down sawdust in my eyes, get back into it if I start to lose the mojo. It sometimes, but you know that's what the water from the tears is for at that point, because then I just throw more in, and eventually it all comes out from all too much crying.
We all have our rituals. He's rubbing his eye right now.
Sorry.
I want to play a game with you, Skip. Don't apologize. Never apologize, okay?
Never ever.
I want to play a game. Let's say I'm blind. Can you describe...
Read your mind?
Ooh. Can you read my mind even if I'm blind? Better question. Because your eyes are the window to the soul. Can you still see me?
No. And here's why. Because when I look at you and you're blind, I think there's nothing going on in your head.
Oh, there probably isn't for me.
I personally think that blind people don't think.
Oh, you know that's very incorrect, and I was trying to make you feel less bad about saying it, but I'm going to say you're wrong, Skip, and I'm pretty sure blind people have
that's why I'm an
editor.
Thoughts. That's why I'm an editor. So when I'm wrong, I can fix the situation.
Okay.
I'm just going to grab a little bit of red pepper. Just chopped up red
pepper. You're just going to throw this chili pepper in he's throwing it in his eyes.
Oh, it's sweet.
Oh, it's sweet?
Oh, it's sweet. Just red pepper?
Okay.
Just not chili pepper. That would... Ooh. What am I, some bozo, some lamezo crazy person? No. It's just red pepper.
Words like lamezo.
It's red pepper. It's what I cook with.
Okay.
Just, you know.
Oh, you cook?
Yes, and I can get the pan going too with a little searing tears. It puts the salt and the water on the pan right away. It just automatically, it's better than Blue Apron. It's cheaper. The expense is mine, but
now, do you ever cook for your Little League team?
Do I ever cook for my Little League?
Snacks for them, anything like that? Make them healthy and strong and while they're young?
I bring them raw material. I bring them sugar cane.
You bring them their own ingredients so that they can cook?
They can cook. I'm not trying to teach them. We live in a very grassy cornfield state, and I like to just run out of my car on the side of the road, grab some, because it's
some raw materials.
There's just an excess amount.
Oh, absolutely. I do have a question. You work
Speaking of, by the way, I just need to mention. Speaking of my little league backgammon team, we do have this little thing that we like to say before every game.
What do you say before every game?
Before every game of backgammon, we say, "Hey, where's the money, champ? You better give it back or I swear to somebody I'ma do something to your mama."
Wow, every single person on that Little League badminton team must
backgammon?
be backgammon?
Backgammon.
They all sound like great actors, because that was a great read of that line.
Thank you.
Did you write that line?
I wrote it.
You edited it?
It's like I'm reading you, reading my mind, and you're doing it to me.
Wow. I was going to ask you, because you are so busy. You have late nights in the office editing. You have all these backgammon.
Yep.
You have all these Little League games.
Little boys.
Lots of time not on your hands. Lots of time, that would be, you don't have a lot of free time. What do you like to do to unwind? What do you like to do on the weekends?
Well, I like to give myself just a nice glass. Just a glass. And I'm not saying like a cup or a glass that holds water or something like that. Just a piece of glass. Just a nice piece of glass. I like to stare at it. Vase. Just anything. A chandelier. Maybe a clear keychain.
Sorry, there's a bug in here.
Maybe a light bulb that, like, one of those, the swirly ones.
You like the energy-efficient light bulbs.
Basically, it's like about that. It's not a mirror, but I can kind of still see myself, and I try to read my own mind.
Oh, now this is interesting, because people say that crystals have energy. Do you find that glass has that same sort of energy for you and allows it to flow throughout you and the universe and allows you to become more in touch with your psychic abilities?
Well, that's a fascinating topic you bring up, Bianca, and I'm glad you did. Well, when I look into a crystal...
Do you need water?
No, I got plenty.
You chilly in here?
It's, well...
Here, have my sweater. I know that I have the AC on.
Thank you. Oh, goodness! Oh, goodness!
What happened there? I gotta take that off of you. What happened when I put that sweater on you?
I don't do layers. I don't do layers.
You don't like layers?
No, never.
I'm sorry
ever.
That I offered. I'm gonna put
It's actually a tragic backstory involving the papers, which that's why I can never layer words. Now, that's why I gotta think of synonyms.
Now, I don't even know what layering words is, but this is fascinating.
I can't repeat words, Bianca, when I type. I gotta use, that's why it's a gift that's why I gotta figure out the synonyms, because I can never repeat a single word. Not an A of the, us, ubiquitous, none of them.
Well, ubiquitous would be an interesting one to use more than once within an article.
Bianca, you don't understand. When I write articles about ubiquity, my life's a living heck.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, what is your favorite thing to write about then? I mean, what are your favorite articles to edit, I guess? Do you like sports sections? Do you like comics? Do you edit the comics? I don't know.
I like writing about fish.
You like writing about fish. What has your favorite fish story been? Is it the banned fish?
It's a little fishy. I'm going to tell you something, what for and how.
Okay.
It's more so, it's not about the banned fish. No, it's not about fishing. It's more so about why do I put so many fish on the ground just when I'm around
this
and
is
about.
Just a personal essay.
Yes, it's about fish on the ground. Sometimes I notice that there are fish in the water, and I think it's not supposed to be there. And then I
but
take.
They are. They live in the water.
Is that the case? I take them out because they look like they're sprinting around for freedom, and so I take them out and I just kind of put them in the middle of a 5-star restaurant, or maybe in the middle of a children's playground where the wood chips are, and they start flopping around. I think they're clapping for joy.
Oh my, Skip, you're...
And when they stop, I think they're just happy.
Oh my goodness, you're so wrong. I feel bad.
Maybe I need more glass so I can read into my own mind and see what's going down before I do it. This is actually a fun fact.
Killing those fish.
I once thought that I could figure out by reading my own mind premonitions and stop myself from doing what my mind is thinking. But it's so difficult to read your own mind,
You're basically just saying that you're having thoughts?
It's so hard. It's so hard to figure out what you're about to think, and that's why I get layers of glass, and then I figure out what am I thinking, and then my mind says, no way, hold you.
Now, do you meditate?
Do I meditate? No. Do I grapolate? Yes. Do I percolate? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do I fergumate?
No, never.
Never.
No.
Why would I?
No, never.
Who even?
No.
Don't bring it up again. Thanks
But
very much.
Do we Vegemite? Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And that brings me to my next question. You know, I want to take you to an imaginary situation.
Take me.
Imagine for me this. You are the newest addition in a crayon box. What color are you and why?
I was going to say red before you said something.
Okay, that was your gut instinct?
Yeah, I was.
Intuition?
I thought, because I read your mind, and I heard, well, when I read your mind, you were saying, what color is Clifford?
Yes, I was.
The big red grouch.
I was thinking about Clifford. That's weird. I changed my mind in the middle of my thought.
There's a glassy room, folks. Now, when you say, what the crayon color would I be in the crayon box? Well, I look at the crayons and I say, I'm gonna be who's a heck. And that's because very specifically...
I'm sorry, who's a heck?
Who's a heck? Now, it's very specifically, this goes back to my...
Swatch it for me. What is it like?
Going back to the olden days of my grandfather. My grandfather was a man, and he did many mans, and he had a very demanding man task. Now, if you ask me, my grandfather, now his name was Professor. And the reason that
That was his first name?
That was his middle name.
He went by Professor.
Yes, because beforehand, his first name was Fuck. And that's just...
Oh, my gosh.
And now we don't want to refer to him as just Fuck. Because that's just, that's crazy. Oh, my goodness. Who names their kid that? So we went by Professor because...
Nonetheless, who names their kid Fuck Professor?
Well,
you know, so.
Well, I mean, his name was Fuck Professor Jones because my grandfather's dad hated his Professor Jones, and he got it. He just decided to make it a legacy, really. He still hates him, so that's a thing.
That is a long-running family grudge.
Yes. Well, I also hate Professor Jones because I knew him very personally, even though he was my grandfather's father's teacher.
Is he an eternal being? Does he not die? Is
No, he was just... No, it's like a Doogie Howser situation. He was just a very young teacher, and now he's on the heartbeat monitor and whatnot. Mm-hmm. He's on the edge of glory, yeah. But the reason that Who's a Heck comes to mind so vividly is because this one time I was staring, and I was looking, and I was thinking all at once, which you shouldn't do because that can cause severe brain trauma. Okay. And when I say brain trauma, I mean you lose everything except for the color orange. But when I was looking and I was thinking, I was staring, and I was assuming I saw the sun. Okay. As I mentioned before, I was staring at the sun for a very long time before. Yes. And I saw what looked a lot like... what I would describe as if Sylvester Stallone wasn't Rocky, but instead was the dog from Air Bud playing football, but on the basketball court.
Still droopy lip?
Well, much so, but also he walked a lot like Kaiser Soze.
So he limped.
Lip.
Okay.
He was... Okay,
I get it. I get the
Didn't have a grip. You know how it goes.
Now, are you writing a new, updated Dr. Seuss type story book or something?
Yes.
Are you trying to plug something? Because
you've
know
been rhyming. You know how it goes with my words and how I say.
The wordplay.
See the message. You got it. Don't do that. That's my job. That's why I get paid. If you can do it, then where am I alive? Where am I alive? So I think about this Dr. Seuss book, which I'm calling. I'm personally, it took a while to think about the title, and I wanted to make sure it was a very good, clean title, kid-friendly. Yes. I wanted to make sure it was also vegan-friendly. Oh. And so I named it Sausage.
So just the word sausage with an accent?
No.
Sausage?
No, it's spelled like sauce, but there's also a G on it. And the reason... Sausage. Gotcha. And the reason that this title came to mind was because I needed a book title. And this book is about really just the elements of grass. And the thing that comes to mind for me when I'm writing and rhyming and hymning and just skimming for the page of the words.
Now, see, these rhymes are incredibly impressive to me. I'm sitting here freaking out. I'm a fan.
I'm not. I'm a person. But thank you for asking. And the reason that these words come to mind is is because when I look at grass, oh my gosh, the vivid flashbacks of horror and terror and love, it all comes back to me in just one blade of grass. And I look at this grass and I think with mine both eyes, this could... Grass rhymes with ass. That's pretty funny. Let's put that in the book. And
so, but you want your title to be kid friendly, but you will put the word ass within the book.
Well, I mean, kids
kids
only have to see the book and say, "Mom, read me this," and there we go. Score. It's a bestseller.
You know
for
what would
everybody.
also help it sell?
Yes.
Put some jewelry on it or something, because kids always want to buy.
Kids
want to
buy diamonds from Kmart.
Yes. I suppose that's true. Kids are attracted to shiny.
Just
as you're attracted to glass. I want to ask you this.
Please?
Before we run out of time here, because we are winding down to the end.
Yes.
I have a question, and my question is, if you were given the opportunity to pick a song that played every time you entered a room, what song?
Genre of music would I ban from the Israeli-Pakistan conversation? That is a great question.
Oh,
now,
we do not have to get political. I'm sorry, you're the editor here. You roll with whatever you want to roll with.
I should have mentioned beforehand, the reason I'm never wrong when I read minds is because I edit memories.
Stop it. Are you serious? That is an incredible quality.
Well,
now, when you say you edit memories, can you manipulate
It's a gift and a curse, really. And it's very much so, like 99% a curse. But then, not even really 1% a gift. It's the other 1% like cursed? A bigger curse.
You were cursed.
Was I cursed? No. Am I cursed? Yes. And now, having this curse, I allow myself to enter your mind and edit your thoughts. And then I can read your mind because I wrote it. But really, the thing I'm doing is I'm also draining children. And this is not a good thing. But at the same time, I don't mind.
So you're sucking the souls from children.
I'm sucking. Just imagine.
Well, careful there, Skip.
Just imagine.
I am.
That you have a son. And he's just there, and the next day he's missing half of his body. And that's because I decided to tell someone that they were thinking about going to get eggs at the supermarket. And see, I'm right, but your kid's gonna be a problem for him.
I have to ask, is this a threat?
Well, is it a threat?
And are you going to steal my son's body parts because yours are falling off?
Well, not specifically his, and my leprosy has zero to do with my mind-reading abilities or my love of grass or my book about grass.
Oh, okay.
It really just more so has to do with it's a hobby. And
mind-reading is a hobby, or losing body parts?
My reading of mind-reading
is a hobby.
Is grieving and achieving.
Okay.
And no matter what, I know that I'm leaning towards anarchy.
Anarchy. You're leaning toward anarchy.
Arcanes.
Okay.
And anarchy.
You're too poetic for me sometimes. Now I just have to ask before you go, is there anything you want to plug? Any sort of upcoming project? Anything like that we can look forward to?
Yes, I'm actually starting my own entrepreneurial line of faucets. And it's called...
Ooh.
It's called Far Away. Too much to me. What are we gonna do about all this water in Texas? And that's
current.
Like water currents.
Absolutely.
And what I'm doing essentially through the title of this faucet, which I just said, so I don't have to say it again.
Yeah, we have it.
We have devised a giant, just freakishly sized sinkhole in the middle of Delaware. Which it would have been more convenient to put it in the middle of Texas. But what we're doing is we put a giant, just insane sinkhole in the middle of Delaware.
Kind of funnel it.
Like if you looked at a map, like it's the size of the word Delaware.
Okay.
And so what we have done is we have taken, you know, when you were in middle school in the cafeteria and you put straws together. And you put them like you see a longest straw and you could still drink your chocolate.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I can relate. Absolutely, yes, I can relate.
We have decided to start taking buzz saws around the edge of Texas and divide them and separate them so that they are no longer a part of the United States.
I am looking forward to seeing how this works out for you.
Thank you. Thank you
very much. No
problem.
Thank you so much for being here today, Skip. It's been a pleasure.
And mine too.
We'll be right back.
You already know what it is.
Sing the song about my foot yesterday. Somebody tell me how this happened. Welcome back. I am your host, Zane Shaw, and today I have a lovely guest with me. You might know her because she is a lifelong, like 60 years she's been doing this, opera speaker. She is a famous author, best-selling author. She's written books such as Cooking with a Man's Hands and Don't Let the Elf-Looking Boy Watch You Cook for Too Long. And she's also super well known for having traveled the world strictly by birds, hundreds of birds. We are fascinated, and we have so many questions. DaDrew HooShooms, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get right into it, DaDrew.
Shall we?
Jump in. I love it. All right. First off, I have to ask, because nobody before you ever thought of speaking opera. Really, people just screamed. But you've put a title on it. How did your passion for opera speaking arise?
My passion really began because it's more just embedded in me. It's kind of just who I've always been. I feel it in my aura. I feel it in my spirit. My chakras illuminate song. It's who I am. And I decided, why do I have to be in a theater? To have this sort of operatic tone? Why do I have to wait? Why is it not acceptable in public to speak with this cadence, to speak with harmony, to speak with elegance? And I believe it is bad table manners if you don't.
Now, a lot of people would say, well, no, I completely get where you're coming from, actually. A lot of people
have said that, yes.
A lot of people would actually say the reason that you don't do it in public is because it sounds like you're being murdered or kidnapped. But
I've never had anyone say that to me, no.
Well, I actually do have a little question off of that.
I've had 6 people say
because, yes, now, there have been moments since you are an opera speaker.
Yeah.
There is the conflict of when you're being mugged, which has happened far too often.
Oh, sorry, that word brings up emotion in me.
Now, I know in that moment you scream for help,
Yeah.
but do you ever think it's weird when instead of helping you, people ask for your autographs because they think it's a performance?
No, it's not weird at all. Because you know why? Because I have fans everywhere I go. If anything, I feel lucky that people will actually pay attention to me. I have seen study after study where they do this thing with someone dressed, in business casual or in business wear, and another person, or the same person even, dressed in rags instead.
Right.
It's a rags and riches situation.
Very tragic type.
Yes, and I've seen where they do these exercises where people who are dressed the better way receive whatever it is they're searching for, and the person dressed homeless or baggy or disgustingly, just honestly atrociously,
Very accurate.
The uglier
Just
dressed person
despised.
gets mistreated. And so I feel lucky to have fans who would jump to my rescue in a situation like that, because I feel like if I had been a nobody would help me. And then
But nobody is helping you because they are going to the...
Because they are asking for my autographs. It usually helps identify the thief because he's usually in the selfies.
That's a beautiful point.
Out of the 11 times I've been
Taken advantage of. We'll just say that because that's not triggering.
Thank you. Thank you. It's much less triggering. Still sends a shockwave through my body.
Oh, there's a song.
Where was the song?
About the mugging?
I was just speaking.
No, back to the mugging.
Well, anyway, back to the mugging. Out of the 11 times that I've been mugged, I have had 9 successful pickouts of the man during the lineup because they were in a selfie. And I said, look at this picture. He was mugging me. You can see the gun right. I said it several times.
It's okay. You don't have to say it anymore. I'll say it. It's very easy for me to say it because it doesn't trigger me. But is it true that sometimes you do, though, however, actually pay people to rob you so that you can make a performance out of this?
Absolutely, but all 11 times.
All 11 times where
all
you're doing...
actors.
Okay.
Ready to go to jail at any moment for their craft.
Oh, so
because I'm giving them a performance opportunity as well. I'm not going to hire real criminals. That's insane.
That would make more sense now that I have noticed a couple of people since, YouTube's a thing and people film these moments with their phones.
Three of them were Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Three.
Yes.
He transformed himself.
He is just wonderful, and I've noticed people have recognized him when he was trying to rob you, and they have asked for his autograph as well,
yes,
which confused a good amount of bystanders, but at the same time, they thought, well, maybe he's just well known for mugging.
I was surprised anybody noticed it was him because he was so in his role. I totally couldn't
see him. He changes.
See
He is another man.
He transforms.
Yes. Speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, was it true you were meant to speak opera on the Titanic before it sank?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's true. In real life, I was invited and I had a ticket to the Titanic to be on there singing. I and my cellist were going, and the day that we were supposed to board, my cellist snapped her cello. We were at the repair shop getting the cello repaired.
Tragic.
And you know what happened?
What?
They left early. They left without us.
They left early.
My pocket watch was just completely wrong. Although at the time I believe I was using a sundial, to be fair, and those are extremely inaccurate when you just carry one around.
Or when you're inside, yes. Now, I would like to jump back onto your musical career real quick. Let's get into the passion of what's happening right now. No more past, all present. What was the inspiration behind your song, Tibby, no, lay low, I'll kick you in a jiffy?
I'll kick you in a jiffy. Is that the one you're referring to?
That is. Sorry, I misspoke.
So what was the question?
All right, next question. Tell us the inspiration behind your books. Let's move on from singing, all right? So we have...
If we must.
We have so much ground to cover, really, and we know that you're a singer. You're so well known for that. Let's get into the stuff that...
Stop. Carefully.
Let's get into the stuff people don't know about, which is more so your writing, all right? Yes. Tell us about your books. What was the inspiration behind Don't Let the Elf-Looking Boy Watch You Cook for Too Long?
So the inspiration behind that is actually extremely hidden and secret. I've never told it in public, but I will tell you.
Wow, we're lucky.
Yes. So the inspiration came from, I was on a trip to Uganda. As celebrities do. I was helping build homes. I was, cleaning the water. I was whatever you want me to have been doing.
Okay.
So I was there doing mission work, being my good-hearted self, and there was this peculiar little elf boy. And he had to have been, I don't know, maybe 2 feet.
What?
It was crazy. But again, he was a child, but he was this little elf boy, maybe 2 feet tall. And he had these ears that were just the pointiest little ears I've ever seen.
Amazing.
And he had a forked tongue. That was what really... He did it himself with a knife on a dare. It was so dumb. But I saw it happen. The whole thing was bloody and excruciating. So terrible. Really hated it.
Whoa. Wow.
I'm honestly maybe going to puke thinking about it. But this gross little elf boy was one day drinking out of this well. And he was scooping with his hands, and he was scooping, and he was scooping. And I was watching, just in disgust, drinking from my personal Brita. And I was thinking,
as one does.
People live so differently. He is the little boy, and all of it is a metaphor around him, and my view on the world being that I am above everyone else, in that everyone is an elf compared to me.
Wow. So wait, it's a metaphor around a literal elf boy that that disgusts you while you're
gross.
While you're cooking.
Oh yes.
Well, that's just an accurate title. Good for you. Good for you.
You're right. I suppose it's not as secret as I thought it was.
Well, I mean, it was a secret that he was 2 feet tall. Like most people would have guessed.
And disgusting.
It was a big secret. He was disgusting. I imagined a John Hamm elf.
No, much worse.
Like Beans from Even Stevens?
Yes, like Beans from Even Stevens. Great description.
I'm a throw up. Now let's move past the books and the singing and just get into what everyone is amazed that you were able to accomplish.
Yes.
You were able to travel the entire world.
Oh, by bird.
Strictly by hundreds of birds.
By hundreds of birds. That is true. Now, were you going to ask me a question? Or just ask me about the experience?
Well, just start off with the experience, honestly. How was that?
First of all, amazing.
Really?
Have you ever flown on a bird?
Well, no.
You must. Everyone must in this lifetime. I'm telling you, flying on a gaggle of geese or just any sort of group of birds is one of the most magical experiences you will ever have. Because naturally, they keep their shape and form as they fly. So, if you can board that shape, you're good to go.
That was a big question of mine, actually. How did you get all the... Because this was hundreds of birds, just a pile of birds. Really, it wasn't just one bird. It wasn't...
Drugs. I drugged them.
Oh.
And the drug that I gave them was kind of like a mind control drug. Where I could put in a code, and it was a liquid code, but luckily I've taken lots of coding classes. I'm an expert. I can hack anything.
Columbia, Chicago, folks.
Lady, let's go. Anyway, so... I'm creating this liquid code to put into this medicinal pill that I'll give them within bread. Birds love bread. It was the easiest way I could think to get them to consume it. So I create this liquid, and within it I put this code that will alter their genetics so that they believe they are one being and cannot fly while not attached to another being. And so they their wings all kind of like melded together. They kind of attached their feathers. They became one large bird.
Kind of like that Power Rangers thing that happens that one time.
Absolutely like that Power Rangers thing that happens one time. Or like Daenerys Stormborn's dragon. Drogo? Never seen the show. That might be a guy she has sex with. I don't know. But it's just the craziest thing. I mean, traveling via Megabird, I would say it was my own personal dragon. I would say I was kind of like Daenerys, if I had to say. I don't know. I did wear a wig that was identical to the character to make me feel like I was flowing in the wind.
It was a personal choice, right?
Yes, absolutely personal choice. But it was amazing.
Now, I do have to ask, were you aware that the drug may not have worked on all hundreds of birds, because there were so many. Were you aware that some would have ulterior motives within the flock and would use your travels as an easy escape method after robbing small town banks?
I absolutely had that thought. How could I go into that situation and not have that thought? And we did have one bad egg, I will say.
It was a bird. It hatched.
Absolutely. Good pun! Oh, woo, woo, woo. Sorry, you got my cackle out.
I do. I tend to do that.
Even my cackle is gorgeous, though, right? It's gorgeous. I was, of course, afraid that would happen, and unfortunately, little Satan, that was my name for him, because he was always a little troublemaker. Unfortunately, he did escape from the group. He did rob every bank on the way. Luckily, it paid for my trip, though. So it was kind of like a Sour Patch Kids. They're sweet, then they're sour, then they're sweet. Whatever you want to say. It was like that where I was like, bad bird, bad Satan. Oh, good Satan. Oh, good Satan. Paying for my trip, good Satan. Who's a good birdie? And I would feed him another pill.
That actually makes up for the whole experience.
Oh, yes.
That explains it all. Now, I know that we have to wrap up soon, and I'm sorry, but I want to end on just a deeper note, really, because
I suppose
I'm sorry.
I could go a little lower.
Clever, very clever.
I'm a singer.
A professional singer, I might add. Opera. Speaker.
Speaker.
Now, the thing that I have to bring up is you did used to have an opera-speaking partner, and her name was La 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 La, you gotta know. And she, unfortunately, at one point, lost her voice after a mysterious incident, and we never got the full story. And we wanted to know if you care to comment on just how she was or how things went down for her.
I was afraid you were gonna ask this.
I'm so sorry to bring it up, but these are the things we have to know.
Do you have a tissue?
I have issues.
Don't we all? And one of them is How Bad I Need You. That's a current pop song on the radio. I was afraid you were going to bring her up. I will only talk about this if you only refer to her as Voldemort in this interview, because she is a little Voldemort. She's just a little evil being.
Tell me about Voldemort.
Well, she literally planted Horcruxes of herself around the theater.
Oh, wait, so we're calling her Voldemort because she was
Zane,
very much so Voldemort.
Zane, she is who Voldemort is inspired by in the Harry Potter series.
Oh, fascinating.
She's the real-life Voldemort. If you're wanting to know what happened, I crushed her throat with Horcrux. I didn't know it was in the trapdoor. I didn't know. And ever since then, she's cursed me. And I don't even... You want to know the real reason that I have to sing while I talk?
Please.
It's because I crushed her Horcrux in the trapdoor and she cursed me. I can't speak in a normal cadence, and I sing every couple minutes. It's so exhausting, and I can never get laryngitis. She cursed me, and I have a perfect voice.
Wait,
I have perfect vocal cords made of diamonds, except better, they're made of gold, like liquid gold. I'm like the most important person in the world, but it's like, I don't want to sing anymore, and as I'm just cursed to sing forever in eternity, and she did this to me, and I'm getting emotional, and when I get emotional, I get more sing-songy.
So
it just gets worse and worse.
she's the reason that not only you sing perfectly, but also that you're so well known, you have so much money, you're so successful, and
stupid bitch created all my fame and all my success and has fabricated my voice to be perfect, and I can never lose it, and I'll have to have a lifelong career because of her.
What a bitch.
You're a man. You're not allowed to say that.
Well, I'm half man.
Oh, then you're allowed.
Yeah, you know, gender is fluid after all.
You know what? You're right. You can say bitch if you want, because she is.
Now, before we wrap up, I do want to ask you one last thing.
Yes.
Would you mind singing one of your new songs for us?
Oh, off my new album?
Yes, the
Will
new
you
album.
please introduce it for me, and then I'll sing whatever. Maybe I'll sing the title track.
All right.
Like I need to warm up.
All right, folks, as our outro, DaDrew HooShoom will sing for us the main song off her album titled Why Did It Do It? Who's to it? You knew it.
Why did it do it? Who's to it? Do it, do it. Who's to it? Do it, do it. 2 in the morning and I'm up thinking about you. 2 in the morning and you're on my mind. Can't go to sleep. Don't know where to find these dreams. Can't go to sleep 'cause you do it, do it. Who did it, do it, do it. Who did it, do it. You did it, do it, do it. We're on the street, we're walking and talking. We're on the street, we're walking and talking, and we're going to the donut store. And we're going to the donut store. It's a shoppe. That's just a little taste. I just wanted to
Wow.
give you kind of... Oh!
Wow, wowie kazowie.
I'm going a little bit more ethereal, kind of with a little bit of a techno vibe. If we had the background beats here, you'd be able to hear it's kind of like a...
Fascinating. And I also noticed that you're singing on this album and not speaking opera, which is fascinating.
Yes, I'm trying a little bit more to use my vocal cords for what they're designed for. Honestly, I'm tired of myself.
Aren't we all? Well, thank you for listening. This has been a wonderful interview. Thank you for coming on, DaDrew.
Oh, of course, Zane.
That is being welcome back. Thank you. This is Bianca, and I am Zane. This has been fun, and it's been good job on the song.
It's been a good job.
It's been a well done, and you too. And thank you, and I love you.
Thank you.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Come back, welcome you back to welcome back.
See you soon.